It's Taco Tuesday over on Prize Picks. And of course, your boy, Mr. CJ Curry himself, has got a handful of picks for us to take a look at on the Prize Picks board. But first and foremost, if you're not subscribed to the channel, if you don't have notifications turned on, and if you haven't hit the like button, do me a favor, go ahead and get those things done. As you can see, we're on our way to 11,000 subscribers. In fact, we only need 15 more subs, and then we'll hit a major milestone of 11K. So if you aren't subscribed, or maybe you are and you know somebody who hasn't subscribed to the channel yet, send my channel to them, send them the link. Let's get them on the hype train. All right, my friends. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the plays that we have on today's Prize Picks board. As I mentioned, it is Taco Tuesday, and they're blessing us with a first taco here. This one's going to be Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers. His original point line was sitting at 29.5 points. We have received a 4-point discount. This was voted on by you community members out on Twitter, out on X. Okay, so Joel Embiid with a nice discount, 4-point discount, but is it a trap? Is this taco going to be tasty? Well, we know that tacos aren't free squares. So there's going to be a little bit of a, we'll say, debate on this particular pick. Let's take a look at some of the numbers behind this particular prop. We're going to props.cash. All right, and when we go to props.cash here, we're taking a look at Joel Embiid's game logs for this season. He's played 13 games. And of those 13 games, he's gone over 25.5 points in 11 out of 13 games. That's an 85% hit rate. There is some blowout risk. Obviously, the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be shorthanded without Donovan Mitchell tonight, possibly without Karis LeVert. So if they are shorthanded, you would expect that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to take care of business and beat Cleveland handedly. But keep an eye on the Karis LeVert news. Maybe if he's in, the game's a little bit more competitive. He's a talented player. Maybe that shifts the balance of power back to the Cleveland Cavaliers just a little bit. But nonetheless, Joel Embiid doing a really great job at covering 25.5 points per game. I mean, he's averaging almost 32 points per game for the season. There's only been 2 times this season that he's not exceeded 25.5 points. That was the first game of the season against the Bucks, and more recently, just 20 points against the Boston Celtics. So things are looking pretty good here for Joel Embiid. As far as the matchup goes, take a look at this Cleveland Cavalier defense over the last 7 games. Now, they're doing a pretty good job. Either that or they're facing some bums at the center position over the last 7 games, because they're giving up just under 21 points per game at 20.7 points per game. So that's kind of some insights there as to what we can expect. We know, again, that the tacos aren't like the Christian McCaffrey rushing receiving yard prop of 0.5 yards. It's not a free square. There's a chance that this could potentially fail, that this could let us down. But hey, let's take a look at some projections real quick, because the projections sometimes can help us with our decision making. And in this case, we've got a first projection of 32.3 points for Joel Embiid. He needs 26. He's projected for 6 points higher than what we need him to get. So 32.3 is the first projection. Taking a look at a projection, this one's provided by RotoWire. RotoWire's got him all the way up at 30.82 points, almost 31 points. All right, almost 31 points. So the projection models are loving some Joel Embiid points tonight. Taking a look at LineStar. LineStar's got him up at 30.8 points. So again, another projection close to 31 points for Embiid. And then the last projection, the most conservative, the lowest projection of them all, but still quite a few points higher than what we need from him. He's projected for 29.3 points, and of course, we need 26. So I think we should just trust the process in this case. Trust the process. Let's hope that Joel Embiid gets more than 25.5 points in a blowout. I think he will. I'm going to take it. I'm going with it. And here's what I'm going to play with it. We've got a couple of other picks queued up here in the Prize Picks board. If you're not playing on Prize Picks, guys, promo code Curry will get you that 100% instant deposit match. So make your first deposit. Use code Curry. I've left a link down in the description below, and then they're going to match you dollar for dollar, making your first entry on Prize Picks completely risk-free. And what better way, what better day to join Prize Picks than on a Taco Tuesday, where we're going to get some player projection discount. So we got Joel Embiid covered. Let's talk about Bruce Brown of the Indiana Pacers. He's at 2.5 assists tonight. He's going up against the Atlanta Hawks. Now this game, I don't know if you heard, has an implied total of over 250 points. So what that means is basically they're looking at how many points they expect the Indiana Pacers to score and how many points they expect the Atlanta Hawks to score. When you combine those two totals, over 250 plus points. It's the highest total game on today's slate. So you would think with all those points being scored, with all those potential buckets, that a guy like Bruce Brown could find a few assists tonight. Let's just take a look at some numbers on Brucey B real quick before we proceed to take this pick. Over the last 6 games or so, he's done a pretty good job actually of dropping some dimes here. You see him with a high of 6 assists against the Charlotte Hornets, 4 against the San Antonio Spurs. Now he did goose egg here, total dud against the Utah Jazz, no assists in that one, but 3 against Philadelphia, 3 against Philadelphia, and then more recently, his last game, which was played against a tough defensive team in the Orlando Magic. He only had 1 assist. Now, the Atlanta Hawks are not a tough defensive team like the Orlando Magic. In fact, they're giving up the 27th most assists per game to opposing teams, meaning there's only like 3 teams in the NBA this season that are giving up more dimes than the Atlanta Hawks. So is it a good matchup? Well, I would say so. It seems like Atlanta's just bleeding out assists to opposing teams and players. So I think it's a good spot for Bruce Brown to potentially bounce back from his last tough outing against the Orlando Magic. And I think this is the great matchup for him to do just that. Now, Bruce Brown's kind of like a shooting guard. He could also be considered maybe a small forward. He's kind of a hybrid player, right? Let's take a look at the Atlanta Hawks over the last 7 games. When we do look at how many assists they're giving up to the shooting guard position, they do rank close to the top. The highest team is the New Orleans Pelicans, giving up about 7 per game. Well, Atlanta's giving up about 5.5 per game. We only need 3 from Bruce Brown tonight. I think there's potential here for Bruce Brown in what is the highest scoring game of the night to find those assists. Let's apply some projections though. Let's see what the projection models have to say about Bruce Brown and his chances of going over 2.5 dimes. So here we go. We have him at projected assist number at 3. We need 3 or more. 3 is a good number. We'll take 3. Taking a look at where he's at on RotoWire in this case. RotoWire's got him at 3.38. So that seems like a healthy 3 or better to me. That's good. 2 projections so far with Bruce Brown going over his 2.5 assist number. Line Star's got him at exactly 3 assists. So again, it's looking pretty sharp here. It's looking pretty good. And then we'll also take a look at Number Fire. Number Fire, a free site if you're looking for some projections. Number Fire's got Bruce Brown's assists sitting at a healthy 3.7. So close to 4 assists on that projection provided by Number Fire. So we got 4 different projection models. All have Bruce Brown going for 3 or more assists tonight. Hopefully he bounces back in this spot going up against the Atlanta Hawks in a high-scoring game. Which brings us to the last pick. The last pick is going to be OG Anunoby. Now, OG Anunoby is playing against a difficult team tonight. The Orlando Magic are the #1 defensive team. Yes, that's my squad. Those are my boys. And my boys, we got some dogs. We got some dogs on the Orlando Magic. Some defensive dogs. Guys like Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black, Jonathan Isaac. We got some guys that get their hands on the basketball and force turnovers. So we're looking at OG Anunoby to hopefully turn the ball over at least twice tonight against this tough defensive Orlando Magic squad. So let's dig into it a little bit further. Again, this is props.cash. If you're not using props.cash yet, use code Curry, sign up for props.cash, and you're gonna save 25% off of your first month of props.cash. I'm gonna save you a little bit of coin. Check out the link down in the description of the video. Get started using props.cash today. Now, these are game logs of OG Anunoby's games this season. I've factored in everybody being healthy: Gary Trent Jr., Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Dennis Schroeder, Jakob Poeltl, all the guys that are going to be active for tonight's game. I've made sure that we're only looking at games where everybody's active and everybody's included, okay? So when we do look at that, he's played 8 games with everybody healthy. 5 out of 8 times, 63%, he's turned the ball over at least 2 times, all right? So 2 against Minnesota, Portland, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and Dallas. Now, he's had some games where he's only turned it over once, but those were against pretty poor defensive teams like the Chicago Bulls, San Antonio Spurs, and the Detroit Pistons. My Orlando Magic are not a poor defensive team. In fact, I want to show you something. When it comes to turnovers forced against opposing teams, according to props.cash here, they're forcing 17.2 turnovers per game. There's only one team forcing more turnovers this season than the Orlando Magic. So they rank 29th in that category. So you see pretty solid, consistent hit rates for OG Anunoby. It's also a plus EV play. If we pull in the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer on this one, which is a fantastic tool, you'll see that OG Anunoby sitting right here at a 53.7% chance of going over 1.5 turnovers tonight. So is it a plus EV play? You betcha. Does it have some good historical hit rates? You betcha. Is the matchup favorable for him to turn it over at least 2 times? Well, yes. Yes, it is. If we go and take a look at the last 7 games in the Orlando Magic, they're giving up forcing 3.4 turnovers per game to opposing shooting guards. That's the 5th best number in that span of 7 games. If we also take a look at the small forward position, because he and Scotty Barnes kind of interchangeable, shooting guard, small forward, but still nonetheless, Orlando giving up a healthy number, 2.35 turnovers per game. That ranks them toward the top of this list. So I do think it's a tough matchup for OG. I do think my Orlando Magic are going to force him into some bad situations, and hopefully he turns the ball over a couple times. But forget what I think. Forget me. Let's look at the numbers once again. Let's see how it's projecting, because these projection models can really help us out when it comes to making some decisions. 1.67 turnovers in this case. So that's slightly more than 1.5, closer to 2 turnovers than 1 turnover, right? Let's check out some other turnover projections for OG Anunoby. In this case, we're looking at LineStar. LineStar's got him at 1.8 turnovers on a line of 1.5. So that's a much better projection. Third and final projection, this was going to be provided by Numberfire. They've got OG Anunoby turning the rock over at least 1.9 times, very close to that magical 2 number that gets us paid tonight. So we got 3 different projections, all saying that OG Anunoby is going to turn the ball over at least twice. So I think this makes for a fine 3-pick. We could go 3-pick flex. We could go 3-pick power on this, or you could just make it a 2-pick power. Maybe you really like Bruce Brown and you want to pair him up with Embiid, or maybe you really like OG Anunoby and you want to pair him up with Joel Embiid. Or maybe you take one of these guys and pair it with the Embiid taco, and you wait for the next taco and take the other one and pair it with that. I think you got yourself a number of different ways that you can go here. You can risk up to $25 on this taco, thanks to Taco Tuesday, so definitely take advantage. Let me know down in the comments section which of these picks is your favorite, or maybe you've got a pick of your own that you're liking a little bit better than the ones I've discussed today. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below, and as I mentioned before, help us get to 11,000 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on all notifications for the channel, and definitely leave me a like. I appreciate it in advance. Thank you so much. Good luck on your entries today. And if you're in Dub Club, we will see you tonight for some Dub Club picks. We got to get right. Last night sucked, but we're going to get back on the ball tonight in Dub Club. We're going to make it a better night. All right, guys? Catch you in the next one. Peace.